Right, so we investigated what happened with a six-sided dice. Let's investigate what happens with an eight-sided dice. Well, an eight-sided dice will have the sum of the opposite sides, if n is the number of sides. The sum of the opposite sides of the dice we know will be n plus 1, because we start at 1 and we go up to the number of sides that we have. So we're expecting, according to what happened last time, we're expecting that we will find n plus 1 squared. Well, it's 8-sided dice, so we'd be expecting 8 plus 1 squared, which would be 9 squared. So we're expecting a sum of 81 when we investigate like this. Okay, let's choose a couple of random numbers then. Let's say we threw a 2 and a 7. No, that's the opposite, so let's take another one. Let's say we 2 and a 6. So when we flip the 2 to the other side, we'd get a 7, and then another 7, and then a 2. And then this one we flip to the other, this one stays the same the first time, so we get 6, 6, and then 3, 3. So this is doing the same thing that we did last time. First this one flips, that one stays the same. This one stays the same, that one flips, and then this one flips, and that one stays the same. So if we are to multiply these together, 2 6s are 12, 7 6s are 42, 7 3s are 21, 2 3s are 6. So we get 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh look, the sum ended up to be 81. We could prove that in exactly the same way as we proved the last one as well. If we called this one x and this one y, and then just proved it using our algebra skills. Again, why does it end up being 81? Here we would have x times y. Here we would have 9 minus x multiplied by y. Here we would have 9 minus x multiplied by 9 minus y. And here we would have x multiplied by 9 minus y. So exactly the same as before. When we expand this one out, we get, and we'll expand them out using a different colour because it makes it easier to see. So this one ends up being xy. This one ends up being 9y minus xy. This one ends up being 9 9s are 81. 81 minus 9y, outside 2, inside 2, minus 9x. Last 2 plus xy. And then this one ends up being 9x minus xy. Let's look for terms that can cancel, because what we're going to do is we're going to add all of these up. But it's silly adding something up if we then have to just take it away. So here's an xy and here's a minus xy. They cancel. Here is a plus 9y and here's a minus 9y. 9y minus 9y will be 0. Here is a minus 9x and here's a plus 9x. 9x minus 9x will be 0. Here's a plus xy and here's a minus xy. So we can see that this is just going to happen over and over again, that we are going to end up with the sum of n plus 1 squared. The number of sides plus 1 squared. So now we've shown it for an 8-sided dice, and we can just use this conclusion to then say, right, what's going to happen then if it's a 12-sided dice? Then n equals 12, so we're expecting, when we manipulated it in the same way, that we'd get 12 plus 1 squared. That would be 13 squared. 13 times 13, 169. You should remember that one. It's one of the squared numbers that you should remember. And then the next one was, what was the last one? How many sides? 20. So 20-sided dice would give you n equals 20 So n plus 1 would be 21. We know that when we manipulate it this way, we'll have n plus 1 all squared, which will be 21 squared, which will be 441. So here we've used and demonstrated with our algebra skills why it doesn't matter what this number is going to be. It's always going to end up with being n plus 1 squared as the only number left. And all the other terms are going to be cancelling, as long as we manipulate the dice in those way. And if you've shown it using your number skills, different combinations, you'll get all the E points and all of the C points. If you did it for 6-sided dice, 8-sided dice, 12-sided dice, and 20-sided dice, you'll get all of your E and your C points, and even 2 or 3 A points, just by keeping the numbers in. If you've used your algebra skills as well, you'll get 5 A points with good explanations and clear and concise. So that's the progression. So keeping numbers in can actually give you quite high points as well. Right? So let's look at exactly how to